Hi, I'm Jackson, and this is my speech over the Iraq War. We all remember the tragic events of 9/11, how it was a major turning point in American history and greatly shifted the political state of America. We remember the videos and the tragic event. We may even be connected to it. We may even had a loved one lost in this. This greatly pressured President George Bush. He believed Iraq was in the possession of weapons of mass destruction, and Iraq had ties to Al Qaeda, which led the attacks of 9/11. Leading up to the war and the occupation of the country, prior to 9/11, there was much instability in the Middle East regions. Iraq invaded Kuwait, which ended defeat in 1990. Many uprisings began to occur. The minority Kurds were being suppressed by the Ba'ath Party, which was led by Saddam Hussein, who retained power in an attempt to hinder the progress of lethal arms, including biological, nuclear, and chemical arms, in the area. The United Nations stepped in. They forced sanctions on Iraq and established a no-fly zone. They sanctioned bombings and eroded the country. Then, UN inspectors came into the country trying to find lethal arms that they were perceived to have. Due to the vulnerability of the U.S. after 9/11, Iraq and Iraq's close proximity to Al Qaeda, President George Bush declared an end to diplomacy and gave Saddam Hussein 48 hours to leave the country. He refused to leave, and America promptly attacked it. The attack began on March 20th with American precise bombing of complex bunkers and Iraqi forces. Despite the fear of the Iraqis, they started the policy of the scorched earth. The scorched earth policy is where the retreating forces, the Iraqis, destroy and burn down bridges, dams, and oil fields to slow the attacking forces, which were the Americans. The retreating Iraqi forces simply did not resist the Americans. The Representative Guard, which was an elite force who reported to Saddam Hussein, was defending the capital of Baghdad. U.S. Army continued to advance across the Euphrates River and passing populated areas, only stopping to inclement weather. March 25th, the advance was halted 60 miles outside of the capital. Before beginning again, U.S. aircraft inflicted heavy damages to the Representative Guard and on the capital. On April 4th, America took control of the Baghdad airport, disorganizing the Iraqis. After this key moment, the army made raids into the core of the city. On March 9th, the U.S. took control of the capital. Due to this key moment and the capture of the last major stronghold, the city fell and the country along with it with little resistance. But the loyalists continued to fight on. Declaring an end to the war, Saddam Hussein fled into hiding on May 1st, and 2 of his sons were killed in a shootout with American forces. Saddam Hussein was captured on December 13th and convicted of crimes against humanity. It was executed on December 30th, 2006. And after this was the fall of the Ba'ath Party. Violent crimes continue to run rampant, and the occupying American forces' main goal is to establish law and order. But it was a difficult task because they had to deal with the guerrilla warfare. Casualties were initial to be around 150 U.S. deaths, but soared to over 7,000 in 2007. This was compared to the 50,000 Iraqi deaths, but this number is highly disputed. After 35 years of Iraqi economy collapsing, and they were highly in debt, not able to recover from the oil that they lost. It was very difficult to rebuild the oil fields while still dealing with guerrilla attacks. One of the main reasons of this war was the weapons of mass destruction they thought they had, but none were found in the country. This caused controversy. While the invasion showed U.S. power and drive, it further strained relations with Middle Eastern countries, called a foreign policy mistake.